Well, and I think the other thing, of course, is that houses are, they're certainly not appreciating like they were back in, '04, '05, and '06.
No, but even though that's the case, Carl, I think you'll find that most homeowners still want to get the best and the highest possible price that they can for their home.
Yeah, and you can certainly do that, and that's what these 10 steps are about, is how to sell your house faster in a slow market, without taking a bath.
Yeah, so speaking of 10 steps, let's start with number one. I think the very most important part that you should do is use a broker from the local area.
Yeah, I agree with that 100% because, first of all, 85% of all buyers still use real estate agents to buy their house, and that number has actually gone up in the market that we're in, where a lot of people say you need to have a professional doing it. And I guess one of the reasons you need to use a local agent as opposed to somebody out of the area.
Well, they're going to know all the features of the homes and a wide variety of the homes. If you're working with just one for sale by owner, you're only going to get a small clipping of what is available. Whereas an agent is going to know 100 houses are available and maybe be able to custom make or custom fit a purchase to what your needs are.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Of course, the other thing is, I think a mistake some people make sometimes is they use like let's say you have a friend that's a real estate agent that's maybe about 50 or 100 miles away, and they want to use that friend to sell their house, that again is about 50, 100 miles away. The problem with that is, even though that person is certainly has your best interest in mind and they mean well, they just don't know the area. And they don't know what's coming up, like maybe a new road's coming through or a new school's coming through or something like that. They just don't know it.
Yeah, and how are they going to show it when they're 50 miles away, too?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, and they also know the pricing for the area as well. So someone 50 or 100 miles away may not know the intricate ins and outs of your specific little market. And so someone who was local would know exactly how to price your home.
Yeah, I agree. Now, the other thing is we recommend very strongly that you be completely familiar with the current real estate market. And I can tell you right now that just knowing the recorded sales prices isn't good enough. One of the big mistakes that we see a lot of people make is they just search to say, well, what'd the home sell for? The problem with that.
Well, the problem with that, Carl, is that someone's house may have sold for $350,000 and someone else's may have sold for $300,000. But one of them may have given maybe incentives, and if they gave cash back to the buyer, there could be $18,000, $20,000, $25,000 in negotiation prices that aren't mentioned in the contract, in the selling price there.
And that's a good point, because maybe they gave a $10,000 credit to do a new air conditioner, or we've seen as much as like $30,000 credit to put on a new roof. And so just knowing the recorded sales isn't enough. You have to know what details went in with that transaction, which kind of leads back to the other thing of using a local agent. They're going to be more likely to know those types of things.
And then I think the next thing that they really need to know is how to understand all of the terms that you as a seller are willing to offer to sell your home. So it's not just price. There are so many other things involved when you're selling your home other than just setting the price.
Like?
Well, the big one is whether you want to contribute to the buyer's selling closing costs. So you can do the contributions like we talked about earlier as far as a roof or a new carpet or something along those lines, or you can pay some money to help reduce the buyer's closing costs, and that goes a long way.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, this is kind of like a little dirty secret that we know in the industry that a lot of people don't know. And this is definitely going to benefit you. Most people, when they come to buy your house, have very, very, very little cash. And when they're negotiating with you for you to bring the price down, it's the only way they know to bring less cash to the closing. Something that you can do to extremely speed up the process of selling your house is for either you or the professional real estate agent that you hire to let everybody know that you're willing to help the buyer with their closing cost. Thus, the buyer brings less money to closing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the buyers might not tell you, but we see it. Most people do not have the cash, and if you can help with that situation and price your home, so if you need to adjust your price to take that into compensation, do that. But offering to help the buyer with with the amount they need to bring to closing is a huge deal.
Absolutely, and one of the ways that they can do that is with the special program that we offer called the Easy Start program, where you help contribute to some of their closing costs, which will reduce their interest rate and their payment, and so they're willing to pay almost close to 100% of your asking price.
That's a good point. That's a good point. So, just to make sure everybody understands what, because this is a big point. So if you're kind of multitasking as you're listening, make sure you jot this one down. Like at the beginning, we told you to pencil and paper. This is one of those pencil and paper moments. Is offer one way that you can help to sell your house faster is offer to buy the buyer's interest rate down. Offer to buy the buyer's interest rate down. And one thing that can be, really surprising is on how little you as a seller will contribute will make a huge difference to the buyer and really attract more buyers by just making a small contribution.
Absolutely. This is one of my favorite tactics when I'm helping some of my people sell their homes or friends.
Yeah.
And this is a great way to do that.
And we also offer another workshop on the Easy Start program. We're not going to have time to cover that today, but if you'd like a copy of the report that we do for the Easy Start program, we're happy to give that to you. Just simply look at our contact information that's just beneath our screen here. And some of you might need to scroll down just a little bit, but if you scroll down and look at the bottom, there's our contact information. And again, we're happy to give this to you as part of the series that we offer for our friends. Now, the other thing, and that kind of goes in line with what we were talking about, is
asking for a smaller deposit. Sometimes when someone wants to put a contract on your home, they're not going to have a lot of money to put out of their pocket to hold the property for you. So if you ask for a little bit of a smaller deposit to hold the property for you, they're probably going to want to jump on board much quicker. And one of the reasons you can do this is if they've been pre-approved for a loan.
Yeah, that's a good point. So a lot of people say, well, wait, the deposit makes sure that we're actually going to get to closing. But you make a good point. As long as you as a seller, your real estate agent or you have seen not a pre-qualification, but write this word down, pre-approval. So as long as they've written a pre-approval down, I mean, things are in pretty good shape for you. And really, a deposit really doesn't increase the likelihood of it closing because they're already pre-approved. Now, if they're not pre-approved, you'd want to get them pre-approved. And again, that's something that we can help you with, that if somebody's wanting to put a smaller deposit down and you want us to take a look at their financial situation, even if they've already been pre-approved through somebody else, we're happy to do that for you and act on your behalf to let you know that all indications are that even though they're putting a smaller deposit, it's looking very likely that they are approved and able to buy your house. And again, we offer this as a free service here in the community.
So here's another thing you can do. You can sweeten the pot here. When you're putting your house for sale, there's a lot of things that you can do to make the pot a little sweeter. You can leave your washing machine and the swing set that you were going to be taking with you. Sometimes someone comes in, that washing machine may only be worth $100, but to them to have to go out and buy a new one for $600, you leaving that $100 washing machine could make all the difference in the world.
And that's another brilliant point, Tammy, is that sometimes people go, well, I want to take my swing set. Okay, guys, we're talking about a $100 swing set. Really. And frankly, to take it apart and put it together and move it, if the kids like it, go get them another one. And I think the key to this point is to just be smart.
Well, obviously, if you have your house for sale or you're thinking about selling your house, it's for a reason. I mean, I don't know if you've been transferred or if you're looking to move up in the area or what you're looking to do. But if you're listening to this, you're wanting to sell your home for a reason. So be smart about it. Offer the little things that make big differences.
No question about it. And you're not married to the swing set. Trust me, you can get another one. And it's not about winning the negotiation of who gets to keep the washing machine or not. It's about selling your house. So I don't know of a better way to say it. Just be smart on this. This is the one area that I see a lot of people, acting a little, and I'll have to be honest, typically it's the guy, all right? So I can say that, and we start acting like roosters, and sometimes, you just need to smack us on the side of the head and say, okay, what's the big picture here, and stay focused on that. So that's really a big deal. So
here's a great one that I like as well. You have to keep your photographs updated. If it was winter time and now it's summertime, you don't want to have a picture of your house buried 50 feet in snow.
That's a good point.
And if it's summertime and you've repainted or you've put in some plants out there, you want to have the freshest, nicest looking property you can. And so that means updating your photos constantly.
That's a great point, and the reason why this is such an important thing to do is, again, if it's middle of the summer and you've still got snow on the roof, pictures up, that's going to give everybody the impression that the house hasn't sold, and maybe you're getting a little bit desperate, or maybe something's wrong with the house and they don't even come to view it anyway. So that's a good point. So if you're in an area with that experiences the seasons, you definitely want to make sure that your house pictures outside reflect the current season, and frankly, that's just a simple thing of making sure you're working with the right real estate agent, because as we know here, that's where we got this information, was from agents telling us this was a big deal.
So speaking of working with those agents again, let's go back to that a little bit. You have to understand what their marketing plan was. When they came to you and asked to list your home, they had a marketing plan in mind. So make sure that they're sticking to it, and that you review that often, and that they're doing what they said that they were going to do.
Yeah, and guys, and let's make this real clear. If somebody ever comes to you and you ask that agent, please describe your marketing plan to me, if they respond with, "What do you mean?"
Run.
Run.
Run, Forrest, run.
Run, Forrest, run. That's a good point. You need to have a marketing plan, and not only does the agent need to have a marketing plan, they need to let you know what it is, and it has to make sense for you.
And what your participation is going to be. This is not fully on their shoulders. It's your house.
Yeah,
and you're the one trying to sell it. So you have to do some marketing as well. You have to be willing to participate in your own rescue.
This goes back to the help me, help you thing.
Yes.
I mean, that's a real big thing here. And guys, let's make this real clear, that putting a sign out in front of somebody's yard and putting your home in MLS, that's not a marketing plan.
It's not?
That is not a marketing plan. That's well, of course you've got to sign up, and of course you got an MLS, but what else are you going to do? And again, we don't have time to cover all of them today, but one of which was the Easy Start program. So make sure you contact us, and again, right here at the bottom of the screen, or you can just scroll down. You'll see our contact information right down there, and just contact us, and we'll get you information about that Easy Start program, and we have multiple other marketing things that we've seen. The
more your house is shown across a multitude of property websites and things like that, the more you're going to have a better chance of selling your home. So
No
you want
question.
as much exposure as possible, and a marketing plan requires them to show you where they're going to market your house.
Which includes, by the way, I mean, that's a good point. Marketing today is different than it was, frankly,
absolutely.
even a year ago. And you have to make sure that you're speaking the buyer's language, especially the first-time buyer, because they're most of the buyers right now. So you just want to make sure that you're not working with somebody that's using, basically is trying to sell albums to an iPod generation. You have to be using marketing strategies that fit the new way people talk back and forth to each other. Now, the other thing, and this is
one of my favorites.
Yeah, this is a good one. You want to make sure that you yourself go to open houses and see what's in the area. And I guess
in your neighborhood, I don't know how big some of your neighborhoods may be, but some of them are pretty. I've been in neighborhoods that are 400, 500, 600, up to 2,000 homes. So spend a Sunday going to those open houses and seeing what they're offering in their home. You may think, gosh, I'm asking a great price for my home. And then you go to your neighbor's home or the house 2 streets down, they're asking the same amount, but they have granite countertops, tile floors, a wood-burning fireplace, their pool's in great, they basically remodeled. And so if you're expecting to get the same exact price that they're going to get, you're in for a rude awakening. So know what the market is around you.
Yeah, and they might be willing to give away that swing set too. So this is a good point, because and I find honestly this is probably one of the most difficult to do, And what I mean by that is, when you're talking about your home, the house that you're selling or getting ready to sell or thinking about selling, there's such an emotional attachment that goes with it. And you might look at a little walkway that one Sunday afternoon you and the family got out there and with your bare hands dug that, and gosh, it was hot and fun and whatever. And you think about all right, to everybody else, it's a bunch of stones that they're walking on to go to the front door. They don't have that emotional attachment, and they might not see the value in it. So going to open houses is, I think, absolutely just a very necessary thing to do. Number one, to give yourself a reality check to make sure that you're okay. Number two, though, is to get ideas. I mean, you might find that somebody's doing something, just being quite honest, that maybe we hadn't thought about. And you would go, geez, that's a great idea. And then we could...
How the house is staged, what the house made you feel like when you first walked in the front door. Did you feel great? Did it have a good smell to it? All of those things are going to be what draw people to buy your home, because it's the first impressions that really make the sale.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Now, this one I think we've kind of covered this a little bit, and basically it's just, kind of saying, just kind of keep everything in context.
Yeah, don't let yourself get nickeled and dimed to death when the whole goal of this is to sell your home.
Yeah, and kind of one thing that I think of when I see this slide is don't sweat the small stuff. And I wouldn't say it's all small stuff, but it's a lot of small stuff. And so just keep in mind what the big picture is that, look, the person that's coming to buy your house, you're going to move out. You're not going to move in with them. So sometimes, we see people go, well, I don't like this buyer because, they're negotiating and maybe they ruffled my feathers. Look, just get over it. You're going to move. You're not going to be their new best friend. And
you get to go to the next house, which could be the house of your dreams.
Yeah. Or if you're looking to simplify, maybe you're getting rid of what has been for you a burden to make a payment on, and now you're looking to simplify. And that could work out in your behalf too. Just again, it goes back to just being smart and trying to take your emotion out of it. And I can remember several times agents in the past sometimes would tell me, Carl, just chill. And it's like, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, I think here's another thing that's kind of important is making sure that you're working with the right agent for the right situation. And what we mean by this...
Well, if someone specializes in condos, don't have them sell your house.
Exactly.
And if someone specializes in homes, don't have them selling your townhome, because it's a different market and a different strategy.
That's a good point. Or like if they specialize in residential and you've got a commercial, or you got a commercial and they specialize in residential. I mean, that's like, like a heart surgeon, they might be very, very, very smart. But, when it comes time to work on my, if I need foot surgery, I'm calling a foot surgeon. And so make sure that your agent specializes in what they do, because even though they might mean well and have your best interest, and so-and-so said they did a great job with this, make sure it's what you need and make sure it's a match, that their expertise in what you're looking to do is important. Because I'm telling you guys, having the right people on your team, it's everything. Really, we could summarize this whole talk today by working with the right people, and because they're the ones that make it happen, which kind of goes back to this slide that we're looking at here, that if you want to know who the best doctors are, who would you ask? I
would ask a nurse.
Ask a nurse, because the nurses work with them.
They work with them day in and day out, so
and they
know.
see they're good, they're bad, and they're ugly.
Right.
Let's face it. That's when all the window dressing is brought down, is ask the nurses. Same thing, if you want to know who the best agents are,
you're going to ask a loan officer, because they see the same thing. They see the good, the bad, the ugly.
That's exactly right. And as loan officers, what we see is those that actually get the job done. Well, we see them at the title companies, and we see them there often. And we also know that, do they sometimes let the little things stand in the way and maybe let some petty little something let a deal fall through? Or is this the kind of person that, by golly, if there's a way to make this happen, we're going to make it happen? I remember working with an agent one time, and absolutely loved this person. This was out in another state. And she told me one time, she says, Carl, if I tell you a little puppy dog is going to be pulling a freight train, don't ask me how. Just get the harness and harness him up, because he's going to be pulling that train. And you want to make sure that you're working with people with that kind of attitude. And there are people with that attitude. And again, just give us a call. And what we'll do is make sure that you're protected and that you're working with somebody that will help you sell your house the fastest. And if you decided to go the for sale by owner route, we can give you some of the pros and cons of doing that also. So I think just the bottom thing here is just work smart.
Right. Keep in mind the goal of this. The whole goal is to sell your home. So you have to know what you're willing to do and what you're willing not to do to be able to accomplish this goal.
Yeah. And I just want to tell you a little quick story here that I had a friend of mine one time. He decided that there was a situation. He was in the process of buying a house, and they were arguing, over they were stuck, the buyer and the seller, of such a little piddly thing that I just absolutely couldn't believe it. And they ended up dropping the deal. Everybody lost there because now the seller, in that case, was making 2 house payments because they had already moved and bought a house. So instead of, I can't remember what it was something like a hot water heater. It was like a $300 something. So now over a $300 something, the seller had to put the house back on the market and
make 2 house
and
payments.
make 2 house payments. Which,
and then the buyer, that's the house he really wanted.
It was because it was my friend. My friend in that case was the buyer. He told me that every single time, ended up buying another house. He said every time he rode by that house, he kicked himself 50 times. And but then the seller, I'm sure, as they're sitting there writing out both mortgage payments, or it's delaying what they're wanting to do, I'm sure they were kicking themselves too. So just make sure you stay in the big picture. So all right. So what we want you to do now is we want you to contact us so that you're protected, and we'll help you with the right agent if you don't have one already.
And we also want to offer you something here. We have a couple of free reports that we'd love to give you. One of them is on how to negotiate.
Yeah.
Like a pro.
Like Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah.
So we got this great report. It's how to negotiate and have the winning edge like Donald Trump. And again, we're just happy to just give this to you. And if you're working with an agent already, this would be a good thing to give your agent too, to help. It's back to the help me help you thing, to help your agent negotiate. They're going to want a copy of this if they don't have it already.
And the other information we promised you was the stuff on the Easy Start program if you're interested in that as well.
Yeah, 2 killer strategies, again, designed to absolutely positively help you sell your home faster. So, well, we sure appreciate all of you taking time out in your day to gather this information that we provided you today, and I hope you took good notes. We also have a recording. We made a recording today of this call, and so we're happy to send you a copy of this recording as our gift to you. And again, we're happy to give you the negotiation free report on how to negotiate like Donald Trump.
So our contact number is just right below here. Give our office a call, and we would love to provide all this stuff to you.
That's right. And that way you have the winning edge, because trust me, when you see this stuff, you're going to want to have it too. And you'll have the edge, and now you know how to sell your house faster in a slowing market. So thanks again for everybody, and scroll down, give us a call, contact us, and we'll get this stuff right out to you. We'll talk to you when you call in.